I'd like to welcome the HTC 10 to my desk. I do durability tests on phones so you can get an idea of what your phone will look like after 2 years of daily use without having to wait 2 years to see it. This has been one of my most requested phones recently, probably because the HTC M9 did not do so well with my test last year. Sorry about that, HTC. Let's jump in and see what happens with this year's model, the HTC 10. I've tested over 20 phones now, and most of them survive these extreme situations. Only 3 phones so far have catastrophically failed. Let's start with the scratch test. I have a set of pics that tell me where the screen falls on Mohs scale of hardness. If the phone has a tempered glass screen like the Gorilla Glass 4 on this HTC 10, it'll start scratching at a level 6, with a deep scratch using a level 7 pic. This smartphone is on par with the rest of the major flagships. One of the features I'm most excited about for this phone is the 5 megapixel front camera with OIS image stabilization, a world first. And luckily this year they decided to protect the front camera with glass instead of using a plastic lens like last year's M9. I'll do a front and rear camera test with the HTC soon, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Let's get back to scratching. The HTC logo is integrated into the back aluminum, so it will scratch equally with the rest of the device. It won't be popping off like the Lumia 950 or the Nexus 6. This phone is pure metal and not covered by plastic or primer. Fun fact, the back metal of this phone scratches at a level 5. The plasticky LG G5 scratched at a level 3. When I scratch the back of the phone with keys, you can see the scratch initially, but they can easily be rubbed off and almost entirely disappear. It's like magic. I always recommend a case no matter what, but it's still nice to see how durable this phone is without it. Thumbs up if you're glad my phone is being tested and not yours. The 12 megapixel rear camera is protected by a very thick glass layer. Way thicker than last year's M9, which actually cracked during my lens scratch test. You won't have to worry about this lens being damaged easily, even though it does stick up a little bit from the back of the device. The side buttons on this phone are made of metal as well, which is awesome. They are much less likely to distort or warp with long-term use like a plastic button would. Check out the ridges on this power button. Beastly. The ridges are sharp, so it's easy to find and press the power button in the dark or as you're pulling it out of your pocket. Onto the flame test. The LCD5 screen of the HTC 10 lasted 9 seconds before the screen reacted to the heat. The pixels turned off and went black, but did completely recover after the heat was removed. For reference, the LG G5 lasted 3 seconds and the Nexus 6P lasted 8 seconds. The phone is cool to the touch within seconds of the heat being removed. The fingerprint scanner does scratch, but it does not affect its functionality at all. I was able to set my fingerprint and still use it with a snappy response time. No issues there. Now onto the bend test. I've tried bending over 20 phones now, and only 3 have catastrophically failed. One of them being the HTC M9 from last year. Let's see if HTC made any changes to their design. I'll start bending from the back. You can see the screen flex out of the frame just a tiny bit. You can also see the amount of pressure my thumbs are applying. I'll flip it over and try again. There is zero flex with this device. It is incredibly strong. I'll analyze it a bit more during my teardown video, but I imagine that a lot of its strength comes from the design of the metal back. The extra ridge along the back edge helps add strength to the phone. Just like with canned fruit, these ridges along the side of the can keep it from crumbling under pressure. The same way that the extra crease on the side of the HTC 10 will keep the phone straight. Overall, I'm very impressed with this phone. HTC took the physical hardware flaws of the M9 and improved them in every single way. Let me know in the comments below what phone you would like to see me test next, and subscribe so you're never out of the loop with phone hardware and durability. Bonus points for following me on Instagram and Twitter for the extra tidbits of information. Thanks a ton for watching. Hope to see you around.